So in front of me here, I have one of the newer releases from Ryder Reserve, which is one of Smoky Mountain Knife Works in-house brands. The more premium line of Rough Rider knives, if you haven't heard of them before, which I kind of doubt at this point. They've been doing Rough Rider Reserve knives for a couple of years now, and they've put out some really interesting designs. A few which I really like. The Ghost Fish or whatever it was called. I really like that knife. I haven't carried it a whole lot. I probably should carry it more because it's a really good knife. I saw this one and I wanted it, and they're calling this, I think, the Finger Grooved Brown Bone Trapper or something. It's like a jumbo trapper. It's slightly smaller than the Great Eastern Cutlery 23. So it's pretty much a jumbo trapper. Um, I think it's the RRR 042. Yes, it's the 042. Of course, this is in D2 steel, just like all of these Rough Rider Reserve knives are. I do wish that they would do these in some carbon steel. That'd be cool. They have started doing some in Damascus, I think. Not this one, but there was at least one knife done in Damascus, so that was cool. But I really wish they'd do them in some sort of carbon steel. That would make me happy. But that being said, a D2 is a really good budget steel, as in the fact that it is pretty much a tool steel, so it will hold an edge for longer than your more budget stainless steels. Um, but I don't like it because it doesn't really patina like a 1095 carbon steel would. Um, but that being said, some people don't want that. So anyway, getting a look at this knife here, it's around 4 inches closed. It's 4.25 inches closed. The clip point blade is about 3 and 5/8, it looks like. And the spay blade, or the upswept spay blade here, is about 3.5. So interesting looking spay blade. Well, I'll show it to the Great Eastern Cutlery spay blade, which isn't really a quote unquote traditional spay blade. But you can see this one's like all upswept and stuff, which is kind of interesting. It's definitely different, which I like. Um, but that being said, I kind of wish that they had done a single blade for this, because I really like the clip blade here. I think the shape of it and everything looks really good. I like the bone handles, although the jigging's a little, really not my taste. And the handle's an interesting shape. I'm not sure why they have the kick out on the bolster there, because it doesn't really affect how you hold it, because there's still this other blade folded here. So, it doesn't really change how it feels in your hand at all. Now, if you open both blades, it changes how it feels, but you can't use the knife with both blades open. So, just kind of interesting. Both blades have half stops. Neither blade has any blade play. They both have pretty good action. It is both blades are sharp. The blade centering on the clip blade is really good. It's slightly off to one side on the swept up spay blade thing. Not a huge deal. I think there is a very slight gap in the liner back spring area, just like right here. Doesn't really affect anything, but it is a very slight gap, so I'd figure I'd point it out. It has the Pepperidge Farm Goldfish Shield, um, or the Bomb Shield is probably what they would call it, but it looks like a goldfish to me. Lined bolsters or threaded bolsters, whatever you want to call that. I believe the bolsters are stainless steel on this knife and a lot of the Rough Rider Reserve series. But I really like what the Rough Rider Reserve series has kind of become, where they've been putting out some, different patterns, some like interesting patterns that we've never like seen an example of before, and then they put out some patterns like this, where this is pretty much a jumbo trapper, just a little different, a little different shape and interestingly shaped spay blade instead of just having the regular spay blade. Um, and I like it. I like what they're doing. Similar to Rosecraft blades, where they're putting out some newer, like some patterns that you've never really seen before, and then they're also putting out patterns that have been around forever, but they're changing them slightly. So that's interesting. Um, the jigging on this knife, which I think I have said that I wasn't super like excited about. Very obviously machined, very uniform and everything. It's just really not my thing. I like a more random jigging pattern. Case's jigging is my favorite thing about Case. Their bone jigging is wonderful. There are some Great Eastern Cutlery jigging that I think is amazing. There's some that I think looks a little too uniform. This jigging, very obviously done by machine. All the jigging's like the same depth, and it's very uniform. I'm just not crazy about it. I mean, it's fine, and I like that it's in jigged bone because for a while there, all these knives, all these Rough Rider Reserve knives, were in micarta, which there's nothing wrong with micarta, but I like a good jig bone. I like the color on the bone. It's like a dark brown, and then there's some variance in the color a little bit. You get to the edges, it lightens up a little bit. It looks good. The bone knife overall looks good. Now they did release another one, which I'll be buying at some point, and that's the Daddy Barlow. That one is in micarta. That one's like $50. This one was like $75, which is a little pricey for a Rough Rider Reserve knife. But honestly, with the build quality on these and everything, and with this having jig bone handles and two blades, and it being a larger knife, I can see why it's $75. And overall, I like it. The one like little problem I have with it that I'll point out here: the nail neck for this secondary blade, or the upswept spay blade, is way back here for some reason. Instead of them getting rid of the swedge and having the nail neck like out here. You can still open it, but you wouldn't need to have the nail neck back here, and you could actually put the nail neck on this side, which I would have preferred, and make it easier to open. Just a small criticism I have, of course, on the clip blade, it's back here. Um, the clip blade, you don't have a whole lot of extra room to put it any more forward than it already is. Um, but I like having a nail nick that gives me more mechanical advantage. I want to have as much mechanical advantage as possible when opening a knife blade, especially one with a stronger backspring. This one's not too bad, um, but more mechanical advantage makes a blade easier to open, and there's no reason that the nail nick on this upswept spay needs to be the whole way back here. You could have moved it forward a little bit. But I'm just kind of being a little nitpicky at this point. Knife overall looks really good. I like it. I don't know how much I'll carry it because usually I carry these Rough Rider Reserve Rosecraft things for a little while and then throw them in my knife cabinet thing and then don't ever carry them again. So, um, they're good knives and I like them. Just for whatever reason, don't ever end up carrying them a whole lot. I'm going to try to carry this one a bit because I like it. I think it's a good knife and everything. And it is a jumbo trapper, which is one of my more favorite patterns. Um, because I like having a big knife, and having a big knife with two blades on it is cool as well. Um, but yeah, um, good little knife. The Rough Rider RR042, or the finger grooved brown bone trapper or whatever. It's Rough Rider Reserve's jumbo trapper is really what it is. And I don't know why they didn't just call it a jumbo trapper or give it some like cool like name. Like you could have called it like the Smoky Mountain Man Trapper or something. I don't know. You could have called it something like that, or something like that. It would have been cooler. They need to work on their names. Rough Rider Reserve. We need names. The 23's the Pioneer Trapper. Um, you know, some other knives have like names. Great Eastern Cutlery is great at coming up with names for their knives. Um, but yeah, I think that's one thing that Smoky Mountain Knife Works needs to work on with the Rough Rider Reserve series is they should give these reserve knives names. Like call this, like I said, like the Smoky Mountain Man Trapper or something. That would have been cool if they had done that. But yeah, I don't, other than that, I mean, I like Rough Rider Reserve. Something that I didn't point out, you get a tube with these Rough Rider Reserve knives. That's cool and everything. It might get thrown away because I don't really see the Rough Rider Reserve knives ever being huge collectibles like the Great Eastern Cutlery are. But I might be wrong about that. I don't know. But anyway, good little knife. Wish it had, or not little, good knife. Wish it had a more interesting name. Um, and I kind of wish it was a single blade. But overall, I like it. I'm happy I bought one. Um, and I'm excited to see what else Rough Rider Reserve puts out. But anyway, it's going to be it for this video on the RRR042 Finger Grooved Trapper. It's going to be it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a good day.